PowerPoint, I just want you to hear it. Hermes Trismegistus said, I'm going to give you the whole quote. As above, so below. As within, so without. As the universe, so the soul. I would replace the word soul with individual in this context. As above, so below. As within, so without. As the universe, so the individual. Everything that we're saying here in this philosophy is the same idea. As within, so without. The above and below, okay, so we don't think of God as there, and that's the same idea as within, so without. As the universal, so the individual. And here's the second thing that Eckhart Tolle says. And this is more of a, take what I just got through saying and put it now in more of a human practical application. That's where he goes with this. He says, trying to become a good or better human being sounds like a commendable and high-minded thing to do. Yet it is an endeavor you cannot ultimately succeed in unless there is a shift in consciousness. So much teaching is about behavior and how you need to do something to be a better human being. It's about behavior looking like you're being a better human being. But he says that is not going to work if we haven't shifted in consciousness. This is because it's still part of the same dysfunction, a more subtle and rarefied form of self-enhancement, of desire for more and a strengthening of one's conceptual identity, one's self-image. You do not become good by trying to be good, but by finding the goodness that is already within you and allowing that goodness to emerge. But it can only emerge if something fundamental changes in your state of consciousness. That's a knee buckler, at least for me. Maybe you're not feeling it the way I am, but you don't become good by trying to be good. It's by finding the goodness that is already in you. And that answers when people say to me, yeah, but you're teaching your kids that they don't have to follow God's rules. Teaching our kids that if this goodness is already in them, how would they even dream of hurting another person? The other is the exposed, you must do these things or God's going to get you. This thinking is, you are already loved, you are already good, you are already God's beloved. Why would you even think of doing harm from that heavenly state? It wouldn't. So it's a complete paradigm shift that we're asking our kids to grow up with, but it's also us. We got to model that paradigm shift. No, this is not, let's just take that in. Let's no longer try to be good. Let's try to access the good that we already are. Because that good inside of us is the heavenly good, the state of consciousness that is full of love and forgiveness and purity and kindness and all the words that we can think of that we want to express on this planet. Change our state of consciousness. It must happen on the inside. I often say, let's open our inner eyes. That's exactly what I mean. Let's open our inner eyes, our inner awareness, our inner self, our inner knowingness. As we do that, this part out here becomes easier. All right, now, one last main big point here is that every situation that pushes our buttons, that ticks us off, that makes us sad, all of those situations are giving rise to heal our separation. This is where our work comes in. This is our practical tool. So can I think of a couple people right now that are sort of pushing my buttons? Can I think of people even in my own family that I'm feeling a separation from? Yeah, I am. And so if I can look at these situations and say, these are here for me to heal that sense of separation, OMG, that's a tall order. But that is where our work is done. When we come across those things in that moment where we feel like, hey, I'm different than you, I don't know how you believe that. To be able to say, but Sean, do you want to heal your sense of separation? That's really the only, I can't change anybody else's mind. Do I want to feel oneness? Yeah. Even in this situation? Yeah. You know, those times that force you to take that big, deep breath and that big inner look and say, even here? Yeah. Doesn't mean I have to like what I see, but I don't want to fight what I see. I don't want to be in resistance to what I see. The only place I get there, folks, is when I sit quiet. When I sit quiet and I remember who I am and I remember what life is. This thing called God is bigger than my ego or yours. So everything that gives us a chance to heal that separation is a blessing in disguise if we choose to look at it that way. It's a process, we're gentle with it, but it can be the greatest healing factor we have. It can be the greatest blessing if it helps us to stop the cycle of blame and anger and hatred and violence. We want others to stop that, don't we? So we must. We must find our ways. Because sometimes all you can do is just, it's hard sometimes, I get it. And yet that's what we're calling ourselves to do in order to bring this heavenly idea to earth. We must stop the cycle of violence and hatred. I also want to say one other thing about that. I want us to shift from the word tolerance to acceptance. Tolerance? Teach tolerance? I don't want to be tolerated. I want to be accepted. Tolerance. I guess tolerance is a step in the right direction if you've been in hatred. Tolerance can move us out of hatred, but you and I, let's move to acceptance. Again, it doesn't mean we have to like everything we see. But let's move now. We went from anger and hatred to tolerance. Let's move from tolerance to acceptance. I would rather have somebody say, Sean, I don't really want you in my life because I don't really accept you. I'd rather have that than to be tolerated. I'd rather have somebody just say, I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to hang around you, rather than tolerate. Tolerate means putting you put up with me. I don't want to be tolerated. Do you? No. That doesn't feel good. So I would even go so far as if I sensed that somebody was tolerating me, I might say, maybe we can just part ways. Maybe that's okay. Because then they can go find the people that they love, and so can I. And then I stay in the heavenly state. I can heal my sense of separation with that person and still not want to be around them. It all can work together. We're healing ourselves. That's the blessing. Whew, a lot of big stuff here today. A lot of really big stuff about this whole idea of heaven on earth. Very big stuff. The bottom line is it's you and I, every single one of us must do our work to bring heaven to earth. Or not. Keep in mind that the things that we do that are hatred and blaming and all that stuff don't help to move us towards that heavenly state. So heaven on earth is about individuals understanding that that kingdom of God, that Shmaya, is right here where we already are. And then we do our work to bring love and to bring understanding and to bring acceptance. And by doing all that, we help to bring heaven on earth. Or even more so, we help to reveal heaven on earth. Because it's already really here. We help to reveal it through our beingness, and we help then to bring in that world that works for everyone just by our everyday livingness. So I leave you with the question. How can you help to reveal heaven on earth? That's a question to take home and ponder. Right now, let's close our eyes and pray. I invite you to take a deep breath with me. As we take this cleansing, healing breath, let's join together in the remembrance that there is only one source. Whether we call it God, or whether we call it a universal presence, whether we call it energy or love, matters not. That one source of all life is one. Whole, perfect, and complete, not divisive, not separate from any of its creations. So as I feel the one source inside of my mind, my heart, my body, I remember that it created me in its image and likeness. I believe God is love, therefore I am love. We are love. I believe God is intelligence. Therefore, I am intelligence. We are intelligence. I believe God is creative. Therefore, I am creative.